Our next guest, our people in the chat are already talking about it, has been a comedian and host since the 90s, working alongside the greatest comics of all time for decades. Now he is back with a new special this week on Netflix. Let's take a look.
My father bought my mother one of those weapons-grade jackhammer massage guns. Have you seen these things? These new torture devices they're just selling to old people to try on each other. No background check, no licensing, no training of any kind. My father just aimed it at my mother's shoulder and hit the trigger.
Hit the trigger. Tom Papa, welcome to DBL.
Man, first of all, congrats from one comic to another. Congrats on the Netflix special, man. That's absolutely huge, man. That's awesome. I can't wait to see it. You know, I wanted to ask you, just in terms of the development, you have been Jerry Seinfeld's opening act for years. What has been some of your biggest takeaways from watching him perform?
Oh, man, it was, thank you for those kind words, first of all.
That's
nice
a big
to be
deal.
here. Yeah, Jerry is amazing. I learned so much from him. Whenever people ask what was my biggest break, it literally was meeting Jerry.
Yeah.
Because he had come back to the clubs in New York for the first time since his show was over, and he was poking around, and I happened to be on stage, and he took me under his wing. Or I should say, I grabbed onto his coattails and never let go.
Accurate, I love it.
But, yeah, I call him the comedy chiropractor, because anytime that you are feeling kind of funky, or you have a problem with a joke, or you have a problem with your career, you call Jerry, and he just reminds you how lucky we are to be comedians, that we could be grown-ups in this silly profession is just a blessing. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned from him.
That's lovely.
So I want to ask you, what's the weirdest thing you've ever experienced on the road?
Oh, geez. That's a big question. That's like asking, why is the ocean wet?
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Man, there's been a lot of strange characters in the green rooms, a lot of strange characters in the audience. One I always think about, when my family first started to come support me live, I was doing a show in New Jersey, and I'm trying to tell them that I chose a good career, and in the middle of the set, someone threw a French fry at me. And it landed on my shirt and had ketchup on it, and it didn't just bounce off, it just slowly went down. And I remember looking at my family. My family was like, you should get a job.
Do you want to be a doctor still?
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Hey, Tom, so marriage and parenting have been a huge source of inspiration for your work. I first met you when I was on the Marriage Ref back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. So were you scared of your comedy changing after having a kid?
I was at first. I thought, I don't want this to devour my whole act. I don't want to become one of those comedians that just talks about family life. But now, like, when I think back, it's like those jokes are so much better. Talking about your family and human condition and your relationships. It's like I can't even think what bad jokes I was holding on to. It's like I would much rather talk about raising a family than catching a cab or the weird stuff you saw in your apartment. That was so silly. But back then I thought it was cool.
Yeah. It changes the mind. All right, you have a bit about how we are the fattest generation. I feel attacked and seen. But you also started a series about making bread. So, Tom Papa, are you part of the problem, Papa?
A lot of carbs.
No, look, I say we're all fat. Everyone's fat. You're either really fat, kind of fat, or trying not to be fat. Either way, fat's coming. And that's okay. It's all right. Yeah, I mean, people are always like, I'm always wondering, like, why are we the generation that was told they can't eat bread? That's ridiculous. What are we trying to do? I mean, I have all these friends that they quit bread, they quit meat, they quit all this stuff. It's like, so you don't have the body of an Olympic athlete. Well, guess what? You're not an Olympic athlete. You're done from sales. You wear khakis. You hike them up when you walk. That's who you are.
You're Don from sales.
You got to accept the reality of it all.
That's so true.
So in your new special, you talk about your pug, Frank. Has your dog ever helped you notice funny things in life that people can't?
Yeah, Frank has been a muse. Frank is a comedy muse, and I don't really recognize things that humans do as much as I just realized what a mistake it was to get a pug. Look, I love him to death. He's a great cuddler. He's awesome, but he pees everywhere, inside and out of the house. And I found this out because I got a black light on Amazon.
Oh, no. I did that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
because you never catch them. I never caught him. I just see him walking down the hall with his big eyes.
That's why you never get a black light. That's just like it's called living the lie, Tom. What? If you don't turn the light on, then it's the cleanest room in the house, bro.
That's so gross.
You're exactly right. Sometimes you can know too much in this life.
I really quickly, we have an extra second. I just want to know, has there ever been like a concept or a bit that you brought up recently, and you were shocked at how much it resonated with the audience? You were talking about having a family, and sometimes, when you bring something up, you're like, oh, a lot of people are worried about their daughter doing this. I wanted to know. Yeah,
there was I just kind of threw out there. I thought it was just my parents that they're into all these activities now. From watching TV, they see the old people kayaking and jumping from planes. And my mother's like, we're going to start traveling. It's like, no, you're not. Your ankles are made of popsicle sticks. This isn't the time to start backpacking through Europe. And all these people came up to me after the shows, and they're like, our parents are going crazy, too.
It's all those Cialis commercials of the kayaks. I blame Cialis. I'm just kidding. Tom.
Yeah, this is your chance to be old.
That's right.
Exactly.
This has been fantastic. DBL Nation, as I know you're already writing in, be sure to check out Tom's new special, What a Day, on Netflix, December 13th.
Congrats, brother.
It was so lovely speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Come back soon. Come in studio.
Absolutely.
You're the best. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
We'll
bro.
be right back. Thanks, Tom.